welcome back, everybody, to another wonderful episode of Banter on the Rocks. Got myself Tim here today, Pina, aka John, here, of course. Back at it. Today is Monday, June 1st, and we've got another loaded episode for all of you. And if this is your first time checking out the show, welcome to the chaos that is Banter on the Rocks. And to everybody who taps in each and every week, we appreciate all of that support more than you ever know. And make sure you hit that subscribe, follow button, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss a weekly drop from the boys. And on today's lineup, we're going to get into our latest banter takes, a summer movie bash check-in, that game that we started a couple weeks ago. We did it last summer. We're clicking along here so far. We got NFL news, some big NFL news from today, NFL finals preview, and of course, much more. And you already know how we do it. Real conversations, unfiltered opinions, questionable takes, and plenty of banter along the way. And as we do each and every single week, we start off things with our banter drinks of the week, what we're sipping on, why we chose it, and how it's feeling ourselves for today's show. And I will get us started on a bit of a health kick, John. No más cerveza for right now. Maybe I'll go back to the hard liquor's good. I know you do it more with like Jack and Coke. That's probably the mix I got to get into. I'm getting a little bit too gordito. So I finally made my fat ass. I rolled myself over to the gym this weekend. Felt really good about it. Just a quick little health thing. I did, I don't know if this is like, an old person thing to do now we're in our mid 30s or, this is just an effective workout. I went on a 12 and a half incline, did about 3 miles per hour, but did it for like a little over 30 minutes. Burned, I think, 350 calories, just sweating my balls off. And then I kicked that into overdrive, did a mile right after it. Pretty quick mile as well. Felt good about myself. I was like, yep. Chest was a little tight. I was like, damn, yeah, it's been a minute. And then I think over 400 calories in total. Felt good, especially after the lunch we had. We had dim sum. So hit the spot. That workout made me feel much better. Trying to kick things off. Long story short here. I got some Taste Salud. This is the one I was talking about. Got the greens and superfoods. Nice. It helps with some of that bloating, digestion support, fruits and veggies in it. It's good. Color isn't magnificent as you'd expect. Looks like sewer water, but it's delicious. It is good. And then a nice little bottle of water to go alongside that as well.
Nice.
So, yep, we got this.
Good. It's always good to get into a health kick. I sort of started it. I woke up today at 5:15 to go out for a jog / walk. My calves started getting tightened up. Shows I'm out of shape, but just getting out there for, I think I did 2.5 miles. Yes. So, nice. But I am sticking with my Taste Salud Jamaica with tequila. So I like I say, I always enjoy beer, but I've always felt so bloated after drinking a few beers. I was at the Hollywood Bowl this past Saturday. Was there watching PITBULL, Lil Jon. Awesome experience, but had a few beers, and like I said, I just felt really bloated for a minute. I was like, I think I might have to stick to the hard alcohol for a bit. A little less calories, not those empty calories that the beer gives me.
Yeah, it's like our consciences were contacting each other this weekend, John. It seems like a great weekend to get started. Beautiful weather here in SoCal. I think that's what does it. Kind of kicks you into hyperdrive, wanting to get back on the grind. That is good, healthy exercise. So, cheers to many more weeks of success, John. Getting back on it. Absolutely.
Yeah, getting started. But I think I sort of wanted to share a little bit about that. Like I mentioned, was at the concert, Hollywood Bowl Saturday. Man, and if you guys have seen my TikTok, posted a little bit about it. Posted a lot of those songs. Experience. Felt like it was 2000s, man. Like the music just brought all those feels back. Wanted to go clubbing. I enjoyed Lil Jon, I think, a lot more. than PITBULL. Loved PITBULL. PITBULL was amazing, but I think I've
Hmm.
always been a more Lil Jon fan. And then when Red Fruit from LMFAO came out, that was just, you know, icing on the cake, because that was just like old school. Like, I hate to say old school, but man, back in the 2000s,
Hmm.
partying, all that party rock anthem. So it was a fun experience. The environment there, it was hilarious, because like Vera and I, we got there, we're sitting. We always like to people watch. That's one of the things I like to do. I like to people watch. Watch people, see what they're doing.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot of people, we were just like, "Hey, yeah, that's our age." They're it's parents' night out, girls' night out at almost like
Yep.
40-ish. So you could tell. But like I said, that's who brought the energy, brought the crowd. So I was like, oh, it's fun. Um, so it was really cool. But then it was interesting because you see a lot of youngsters. They're like 21, 22-year olds partying, and I was
Okay.
like, you know nothing about Pitbull. You probably weren't even born. Maybe like two.
TikTok trends, Sean.
TikTok
It's
trends,
okay.
maybe. Yeah. Fireball probably is the one that sort of got him popular with that crowd. The
Yeah.
fireball shot, the shots, drinks. But yeah, it was just a fun experience, and shout out to all those baldies, those bald caps. They were out. Like
It's
I
great.
said, I want to say hundreds, but I think there were probably closer to thousands. There
Dang.
are a
Yeah.
lot of bald caps.
That's great. That's great. Good combo of ball caps. I think it's always funny when the ladies are wearing them and then they have the full suit on too,
Oh
and they
yeah,
just go out to eat before and head over. It's
yeah.
it's it's good entertainment for sure.
Yeah, like I said, there were some like very low effort. You just pulled the bald cap, you could still see the hair, and that's about it. But
Yep.
they all had like the white dress shirt, the tie, black pants. But then there were those that were very into it, like actual bald caps where they like painted, contoured, to make it like blend in.
Dang.
They did the
Yep.
little mustache and his little goatee with the glasses. I'm like, man, that's awesome. I say I
Completely
was
decked out.
considering it, but I didn't have enough time to get the bald cap. It wasn't going to arrive in time.
Yep.
And then I told V, I was like, I'm just going to shave my head, and I considered it,
Join the
just
crowd, John.
going bald and then just shaving that and just being perfect. But I was like, nah, gotta ask out. I got to be out of work for like 3 weeks just to let it grow back a little bit.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, at least yours would grow back.
Well, I hope
Would
it
be a lot
would.
easier. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Imagine I shave it and it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going back.
It's like the movie Tangled. You cut
Yeah,
it once and it's your superpowers are gone.
yeah. It's like, yeah, I can't risk that.
No,
So,
absolutely not.
but no, overall fun experience. Enjoyed it. Um, Hollywood
Hollywood
Bowls.
Bowl, great venue. Like food, drinks. How's the setup over there? I haven't been. It
The
looks amazing.
the food's okay. It's just basic burgers, pizza, nothing
Okay.
special. We got there a little earlier and we ate at the Ovation, so because we walked there, it's only a
Oh,
mile from like the mall area on Hollywood
oh,
and
cool.
Highland. So we had
Yep.
Johnny Rockets, which always hits the spot.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Surprised
but
it's still
yeah,
around. It's
yeah,
such a gem, though.
yeah,
Love it.
yeah. It's a gem, but it's always funny because they're always taking your picture and trying to sell you pictures, and I'm like, nah, I don't need that. Just want to eat,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some eat.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. Overall, like I say, alcohol wise too, I think it's just like a selection of it, nothing major. I had I don't know what that's. Um, had Modelo's, and then I went to some White Claws.
Very
So
nice.
needed a little bit of a change.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I said, overall, like I said, good venue, concert venue, great one. I've always enjoyed going there. Nothing else this season or I think we want to maybe go to One Republic, but that's a tough one.
It's too late to apologize. Sorry, I don't want to
Yeah,
bring on too much tunes. Memorized that song back in high
yeah,
school, just so you know. It's such a great song
yeah.
back in the day. They're a great band.
Hmm.
One Republic, massively. a big deal. I feel like in the
Yeah.
late 2000s, mid 2000s. So that's always a fun one. I feel like that those concerts, like PITBULL, like you just attended, bringing out special guests from the same era.
Yeah.
That's such an awesome, like, just flashback in time. Like you
Hmm.
said, makes you feel the vibes of 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, immaculate. And
Yeah.
the environment looked great, your seats look killer.
Hmm.
Just look like a great time. And I had another question for you. It's
Hmm.
a logistic question, probably not
Okay.
that much fun, but I saw, because I always think about, you park at all these stadiums, arenas, whatever. Parking is always somewhere
Hmm.
miserable, in my
Yeah.
opinion. You mentioned park a mile away, walk it. That sounds absolutely perfect, because it sounds like you kind of labeled it out. It's a
Hmm.
lot easier getaway. But I saw that the Hollywood Bowl has some type of like staggered line parking where you have to wait for others to leave. And I'm thinking,
It,
like, man, if you want to get
it,
out of there fast, but you're stuck behind somebody that wants to chill for 2 hours, that sucks.
it's what they call the stack parking.
There it
I've
is.
stayed at the stack parking. I it's the best of both worlds. You could say either way. Um, like I say, stack parking. It's pricier, but like I say, it's a 2-3 minute walk to the entrance compared to. I think it took us to get there. It took us maybe like 20 minutes, something like that, because we were taking our time. Leaving was a pain because everybody was also walking. So, like, the
Ah,
sidewalks, you go
yep,
from like this, like big old people, and then all of a sudden into like a bottleneck. So, like, slows you
yep.
down. So that's where I would say it's probably the downside. But yeah, the stack parking, like if you're stuck behind a bunch of cars, you're just chilling in your car, you're just chilling outside. I remember there was
Yep.
one time we were like, I forget what concert, but we were like towards the back of the whole stacked, and it's like we waited, I think, like a good 30 minutes before cars started opening up, because it's not even the cars in front of you that open up. Sometimes you have to
Hmm.
start going diagonal and just finding ways
Damn.
to squeeze
Yeah,
through. So I think that's the one bummer. I think if you get stack parking, you just got to show up early. Be
for
like
sure.
one of the first few people there, so you can just leave immediately once you get to your car.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's the way to do it. But yeah, no, sound like an awesome time.
Yeah.
Pitbull, great performer. Definitely. Would you attend one of his concerts again in the future?
Yeah, I think I would. It was funny because like he would only sing his parts, like all of everybody else's parts, because I would say what 70% of his songs have someone else on them, or
Yeah.
he's part of
It's
it.
always featuring Pitbull or,
Yeah, or
everything.
Pitbull featuring someone.
Yeah,
I think there's only
absolutely.
like 3 songs that maybe he does by himself. But
Hmm.
it was always funny. I don't know if it's copyright things or what, but I was like, he wasn't singing like the J Lo song, the one with J Lo.
Oh,
I can't even
okay.
like he didn't sing, or you didn't hear J Lo's voice at all through the like speakers. It was
Hmm.
like more everybody in the crowd singing it. So that was a pretty cool experience,
Oh,
but it was
yeah.
funny to see.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, look like a great time.
yeah,
Sure that walk was kind of fun,
hmm,
dodging all the pit bulls on your way out.
yeah,
Um,
a lot of them.
Solid weekend,
Yeah,
John. Look like
yeah, no,
fun.
yeah, no, good weekend. So but yeah, that's a concert experience this past week. But we'll get into it with our Wolfpack check-in. So this is where we're talking, Tim's Wolves, Wolves fandom joining in this year. We talk soccer, EPL drama, transfer rumors, heartbreak, overreactions, and just a lot of soccer now. And with the World Cup, pretty much next week on Thursday, it's something we'll probably be talking a lot more during this segment. But
Yep.
so it's like whether your club is doing well right now, your international team is winning games, or your team is completely falling apart, this is the place where we're going to talk about it, talk smack, or cry about it. So we'll get into some soccer, some football talk. Um, Big one from this week in Champions League final:
Oh yeah.
Arsenal versus PSG. Saw the game, eventful for a bit, but went to PKs. Um, Overall, for me, happy PSG won. I think a lot of us non Arsenal fans did not want Arsenal to win. I think we compared it to, and I think I sent you a TikTok. It was a beautiful day on Saturday because Arsenal lost, and then we'll talk about
Yeah.
NBA, but OKC lost. So
Yep.
it brought sports to normality where it was going crazy with Arsenal winning the EPL, possibly Champions League, and OKC possibly going to the finals. It was just a lot of mayhem. So overall, good game. I was watching it. You get a chance to watch?
I did, yeah. We're at a family birthday party Saturday. Afterwards, went over to the Rob's house. Hopefully, we get him, on the pod next week to talk some World Cup. But yeah, went over to their house, kind of chilled for a little bit, watched the highlights, kind of like the lengthy highlights they release on YouTube, and Arsenal just scored too early, and then the game plan just wasn't successful after that.
No.
It's PSG, was able to score later in the match. Then, going into PKs, the PKs was a little rough. Like, just on Arsenal's part, just those two misses. One, I think everybody was thrilled about at the end there because I guess that defenseman, nobody likes him, I guess. Kind of found out a little bit more about that over the weekend. Yeah, Gabriel, exactly. And and then I think the other gentleman, the one that kicked before him, the stutter I didn't understand. The stutter step was terrible. You're not fooling anybody but yourself. That was just awful. And Rob was kind of making fun of him, like, dude, why did that? That was the worst hezzy of all time. It just confused himself. So I think you got to go fluid with those and just kind of kick through it, unless you're like some genius and you have it really well planned out, like Messi or Ronaldo. They can get away with it, but that's just ugly. It was a fun match, though, fun environment. I feel like I have a much better understanding of Champions League altogether. Feel better about that. And PSG, repeat winners, so congrats to them. First time since, 2017, 2018, Real Madrid, if I'm not mistaken.
Real Madrid, yep.
Nope, see, leap ball knowledge.
Yeah,
better.
Ball.
I did get a comment about my question to you last week too, by the way, John.
I saw
with the cut. He was fully committed. You can't change countries, so
and I think I sort of, like I said, I think if we would have gotten like the whole clip there, I think I mentioned it that I don't think he was able to move because he committed to US after the Gold Cup. But like I said, there's always like I've seen it before, like weird ways that some players do change countries. So I was like, I don't know, maybe he'll try. But Mexico announced their squad, and he isn't on that squad either. So unfortunately, an injury has to happen, I think, for Diego Luna to get there, and I doubt that's going to happen. But PKs loss for Arsenal. As when he did that, like I say, not everybody could do a stutter step. Some people do well. He did it because he wanted the goalie to flinch first and then go, but the goalie didn't flinch and he was committed, and that's where he sort of made that mistake. So unfortunate for him. And then Gabriel, why they made him the fifth shooter, I don't know. When I saw him come up, I was like, he's missing. He's a defender. Defenders aren't the top people to take PKs because, like I said, they're not about precision. They're about defending, just kicking the ball out when you need to. There's some defenders that are really good, but I didn't see that from Gabriel. But unfortunate for him. I think the one question I'm curious to see is it going to affect him going into the World Cup? Because like I say, World Cup a week and a half away, and Brazil are giants in this sport. That is this PK going to mentally mess with him?
Yeah. You got to imagine the carryover a bit, right? That's the main stage of soccer up till this point in the year. And then you have to kind of leeway yourself into get focused for, of course, the World Cup, and that's starting, we're only a week away from that. So Not a whole lot of mental recovery time in that sense, and I don't know too much about him as a player. Maybe he's a guy that can kind of overcome that. But yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
at least he won't be having to kick a lot of goals. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. He doesn't have to turn his focus on that and be worried about it. But you know, I guess we'll see. And then another, speaking of just the mental struggle of it all too.
Mhm.
Don't know how I feel about this one. Arsenal, 12 hours after losing Champions League, goes back home to
Oh yeah.
celebrate the EPL victory and with a
Yeah.
parade. A little demoralizing, the timing of that.
I think it is. I think they should have done the EPL one a little bit before, but I also know they
Yep.
were prepping for Champions League. Um, like I say, I think it's a little bittersweet because you're going back without one of the major hardware. It would have been better going back with both, and who knows? Maybe they planned it thinking they were going to win, and they got too cocky, and karma hit.
Yeah, they sure did.
Huh.
It came on fast. But yeah, no, Arsenal, people celebrating that one for sure.
Mhm.
PSG, yeah, I mean, crazy the amount of changes that they've had over the last few years.
Mhm.
New coach as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, Luis
Or
Enrique.
newer coach. He's done a fabulous job.
Mhm.
Just putting the squad together, and it's crazy that they once had all of the studs with Neymar, Messi, Mbappe,
Mhm.
didn't win jack squat, and then have the team that they have now and win back to back. So
Yeah.
goes to show you can't have too many main characters
Yeah.
in one movie there.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't have that many big minded, big headed people that think they're like the ish because like I said, Messi's really good, but I think Messi has understood his role that he's still a top player, but he isn't at that peak performance where he was probably younger.
Yep.
Neymar, I think, went through a lot of injuries, just struggled. That's why he's back playing in Santos and Brazil. But Mbappe is a big one. Like probably one of the best young players, but still never able to win the major hardware other than one World Cup, and you weren't even the main focal point of that World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and going to Real Madrid thinking you're gonna win everything and hasn't really won jack shit. So it's a
Yep.
bad look for him, and it makes it sort of look like he is a little bit of that the you could say the like cancer of a team because like I said, Messi came to Miami FC and he won a championship here, in the MLS. It's MLS, yes, but still won a championship.
Still want it. Yeah. It's
Hmm.
yeah, the got to point the fingers at some point, and that's kind of the separator. But yeah, can't get too many big heads.
Mhm.
But fun watch for sure. I've
Yeah.
really come to this is kind of a good filler time, of
Hmm.
sports. No NFL for a while now. We get little glimpses here and there, and we'll talk about that later. But it's this time of year can sometimes be a struggle for a lot
Yeah.
of sports viewers, especially the state of basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I've thoroughly enjoyed this. Happy I'm getting more into it. Ball knowledge ticking up each and every weekend. We're getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Other big news that I saw this week, football related. Marcelo Flores, midfielder from Canada, ruptured ACL. Big injury for a pop, big player for Team Canada. And it just goes to that question that I asked you, why are some of these star players still playing? Yes, you're doing a lot for your club, but like I said, this guy is missing now, not playing in the World Cup on his home turf. It's just a bummer, And like I say, sometimes you only get one chance to be in the World Cup.
Hmm.
You might not be getting called back in 4 years because there's all these new young up and coming players that they would rather take than you. So it's unfortunate for Florida's. Like I say, it's glad nothing happened during Champions League. But I think the one thing I saw with the Champions League is the star players didn't play like the full game. I think a lot of them got subbed out. I think Declan Rice was probably for Arsenal and Gabriel were like the main ones that stayed playing, but like Saka
Hmm.
wasn't playing the whole game. some of these other big names. So yeah, unfortunate for Flores.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree. You've kind of repeated this, what seems to be every week at this point, going back a couple months now, John, of just
Mm-hmm.
teams got to prepare, get ready, and furthermore, unfortunately, announcing the injuries that have occurred. And
Mm-hmm.
you get this close, and it can just be absolutely decimating to a team,
Yeah.
depending on who's there. And, I saw Harry Kane, I believe it was the semis for the Champions League, and he was playing, and I'm like, man, hopefully he wasn't out there too long. Obviously, that was a few days ago, but just seeing some of these big names out there just kind of
Yeah.
makes you cringe at some point. Like, I feel like when it comes to the NFL, whenever Christian McCaffrey's handed the ball, I cringe. But I also get excited, just knowing the history and what could happen. And, I'm
Yeah.
sure that a lot of soccer fans were kind of going through a lot of that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, injuries is one thing. A lot of recent hype, I feel like, with Team US had a pretty good win, right? This
Yeah.
past weekend, if I'm not mistaken, Pulisic scored.
Yeah. 3-2, I think it was final score. Was it?
That's right, against Senegal. Mm-hmm.
Senegal. Yeah. So I think for them, and it was with their main player. So really good win, good showing. I think they got maybe one more game before the World Cup. So overall, like I said, good win. Senegal's a team that you can't mess with. They were up 2-0, but then gave up able to come back. So still a lot of work that needs to be done with Team USA, but yeah, good momentum, I would say, going into the World Cup.
What are the purpose of these matches, Sean? Are they qualifiers for anything, or because the
No,
pools are already set?
yeah, pools are already set. This is just friendly, getting you up and
Oh,
running, getting you used to the team, cohesiveness, how the team's going to work,
got it.
how your lineups are going to look. So that's mostly what it is.
Understood. Kind of like a spring
Yeah,
training for the
yeah,
regular season. Got it.
yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Good that they have those games. Also gets exciting. Saw way too many comments saying US was going to win the World Cup, and I'm like, ease your
I,
horses.
I've seen a lot of that. A lot of people saying it, and I've said it here already. I don't think they will. I
Yeah.
am gonna root for Team USA. Always have every World Cup, but looking at their squad, they have a great squad. Could they pull off a miracle? Yes, but it's gonna take a lot. It's not
Mm-hmm.
an easy challenge. Like in their group, they should probably be number one in their group. Once they get to the next round, they're playing a number three squad of a group. I don't forget what group they might get. Um, so that one should also be probably a decisive win, and then it's the round of 16. That's where it
Mm-hmm.
starts getting tough. That's where you start playing the elite teams, and you're gonna have to get through about like three elite teams. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be
Yep.
hard, and they haven't beaten a top 10 team, I think, probably since like I don't even know if it's like something. It's been quite a while. It's been many years since they've beaten a top 10 team. So these elite teams, if they face them, they could struggle. But like I say, who knows? Home court advantage does mean a lot, and them playing in the U.S. could help them. But like I say, I would say the same thing for Mexico. Mexico's playing here. Mexico had a good, I think they won 1-0 against Australia. Australia
Mm-hmm.
is a pretty tough team. Um, so that's another team that I would say, if the stars align perfectly, they can make it to the finals and win it too. And imagine them winning it on home turf.
Yeah. Yeah. Would be crazy. I mean, lots got to compile. I don't know. I see those hopes and dreams, and I'm like, I wish they would get fulfilled for America. But me being a really, really, really casual soccer fan, if you want to say casual, up until this year. Now I feel like I've graduated from that and gotten a little bit more serious about it. But I can't tell you when or where. I'm guessing Landon Donovan times would be last time America was really serious and a good contender.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say I think it was Landon Donovan, that team, Beasley, that
Tim Howard, right?
Tim
Goalie?
Howard was there. Yeah,
There it is.
that it was around that time I think where they were probably the most competitive. And like I said, this is in the US, this is our golden generation. That's what they said. I don't know. You have HBO Max, right, Tim?
I sure do.
Yeah. So they have a documentary on Team USA. So, and it's every Tuesday leading up for the last 4 years. So you can sort of look at that. And then there was another one I saw, I think it's on Viceland on YouTube. But what the US did when we had the last World Cup, which was, I think it was like 94, 92, something like that. I'm really bad with dates. Sorry about that. But when that happened, like soccer was getting popular, and what they were doing is they were trying to develop the next young players. So that's why those players that they were getting ready back then in 1994 were barely being born, and this is the time for them to come out. This is that golden generation that the USA has been working on. And like I said, we have a lot of great players, but I just haven't seen them put it together. They haven't competed against the top teams the last like 6 years. So it's hard to say that they can win, that they will win, but can they? It's a long shot, but if they play perfectly, they can.
Got it. Got to be perfect, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a tough feat to handle, but you know what? It's going to be fun. And, if they do make a run, it'll make a hell of a Cinderella story. We can treat it kind of like March Madness in a sense. And certainly we're going to have a ton to talk about as we kind of go through. For sure, John, see you wearing a pretty snazzy jersey there. I for sure wanted you to elaborate quite a bit about that.
Yeah. This jersey, I was going to talk about it towards the end. Picked up the jersey, so shout out to the Shirt Plugs. I'll put their link in the bio, but I found them online. They sell current jerseys and also retro jerseys. So this is a retro Newcastle jersey. I just like the color, and I like I'm a Newcastle beer guy. I've always enjoyed their brown ale, so I liked it. Got it in the long sleeve too. I'm a long sleeve type of guy. But very legit, very not, like I say, it's people are going to talk smack that it isn't an authentic jersey, but like I said, everything stitched in looks exactly like what the originals look like. You got to do hand washing because like all the things they iron on will get messed up if you do dry it. But overall, great quality. Feels like all my other soccer jerseys that I've bought before. Material. So like I said, really shout them out. They have a lot of cool retro jerseys. I might order, like I said, I'm not sponsored by them, not getting anything from them at the moment, but they got a deal. You buy 3 shirts, you get 2 free. So I might go in there, buy some. Like I say, they don't have all the current World Cup teams, but they have a few. Like they have Team USA. I think I'm gonna go for the Mexico black one.
Very nice.
Like that one. Like I say, I for me, I like my dark colors. I'm a very messy eater and just messy in general. So white, once I have a white jersey, I might only wear it once because it's going to be stained after that.
Yeah. Well, especially when you have kids, you never know when it's going to happen. I took the risk with the Germany jersey being white, but it's an awesome jersey. And, I too, come at us, with this, with this take here. But I too find myself buying more jersey reps over the last couple of years because A, you can get them for a fraction of the price, and B, the quality is the same, if not better at times.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like if you can find a decent, suitable seller of it, Why not? You know,
Yeah.
it's good stuff. That jersey looks really cool. You can find, you know, certainly all types. I did a little browsing. John sent me over the link. Really contemplating buying some because that deal looked pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Buy 3 get 2 for free. It's freaking
Yeah.
awesome. Especially when they're going to carry national team jerseys,
Mhm.
retros, recent, and they have it all subcategorized. It's really
Yeah.
easy to use website. So, yeah, try us out.
Yeah.
They'll sponsor us.
Yeah, they'll see this. I'll clip this, but like I say, the one thing I will say, like I say, disclaimer: really look at what their sizing is because I did look at it. You know, I'm a bigger guy, that's why I'm getting back into my health kick to lose some lbs. But like this is a double XL. I normally don't wear a double XL. I wear a XL. You know,
Mm-hmm.
or an L depending on what the style looks. So like I say, some of the jerseys I think I read I might need a 3XL, which is sounds weird, but hey, if I got
Yeah.
to, I got to.
It happens. I think that's really common with a lot of jersey reps. They're always really undersized. I've made the mistake of buying a few XLs and had to increase those into double X's just so that way I'm not losing breath from sucking in my gut for a few hours. So you know, another
Yeah.
reason, like you mentioned, going back to the gym. But yeah, you know, it's super cool. Website looked awesome. Yeah, I'm a big advocate of that stuff. I think it's awesome. And you got it really quick. That was one comment I made
Mhm.
was you barely kind of brought this up and you shared the video of them like a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, dude, yeah, I already tried them on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Jesus, that was fast.
Yeah, I think it took about maybe like a week and a half, which, like I say, is
Wow.
pretty quick turnaround. So
Very.
I think if you place an order, try to place it in soon, so maybe you could get it like after the first week of soccer, football, you know, World Cup. But yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, solid. Love the
Hmm.
plug, John. It's
Yeah,
good stuff.
but yeah, that's the Wolfpack check in. And we'll go into our banter takes. So this is where we share our hottest takes of the week. No prep, no warning. Like I said, we don't chat about this beforehand. We don't tell each other what these takes are. Just real time reaction, everything off the top of our mind. So just buckle up because sometimes we do say some crazy stuff, some crazy banter and feedback, and we'll see what it is. So AI is ready to take over another career. Golf caddies. Hey, I haven't seen this, but I could believe it. AI robots. I've seen a lot of videos on AI robots doing so much. And like I say, with the golf caddy, you don't need someone that walks. So an AI robot that has wheels that could go over all the greens, all the hills, staying on the cart path, and then even having an arm and a way to extend, you know, what club to give you based off where you're at, you know, almost like AI field view, range view to tell you how far you are from the pin. It's gonna be popular. So I'm not surprised that they're trying it. I can imagine they're probably trying it in Europe right now, somewhere, or Asia is the big place.
Think a lot closer to home, John.
Oh, is
I'll
it?
give you a quick little snippet of this, and it's something that you or I could probably use for ourselves. And so this past weekend, I believe is kind of when this kind of came out. Bryson DeChambeau, home country, you know, U.S. golfer. I guess he wasn't doing so well in some tournaments, had some issues, turned to AI, filmed himself swinging, took that video, uploaded it to AI, said, "Fix my golf swing." It gave him some fine-tuned points and basically kind of got him out of that rut. I guess he, you know, kind of fixed a few things. He's feeling frustrated at first, but then, you know, sent it over to AI, and he felt like he was, you know, felt a lot more relaxed. Kind of went back
Yeah.
to the simplistic things, made some alterations, and was able to kind of get well under his way. So props to Bryson for going out of the box using AI and openly admitting it, because I think it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. So yeah, it's like AI does so much. I've seen a lot of videos of the golf swing, and I see just technology wise too. Like I say, what they have is some of the driving ranges, cameras that look at your swing, look at the art, like all that stuff. Like AI, this is a sport that AI could help, but I'm also curious how they'll use it because sometimes people think AI is cheating. So will it
Mhm.
be allowed to be used on the professional tours? Because it's like it's giving you an upper hand if your AI system or whatever you're using is a lot better than someone else's AI. So how do you make it an even field? And golf is a sport that I think likes to keep it classic, the old ways, and for them to make that change in the professional sense could be a while, but like I say, I think it's something they should look at. Saves them money. Maybe some of the maintenance fees. You just got to replace the tires,
Mhm.
the chips. But like I say, I think it would help. It would help me a lot because my swing sucks. I need to be told exactly how to swing a lot better. Um,
Mhm.
even just like how far I need to swing. Like my irons, I'm still working out like what my distance is. So
Mhm.
AI would probably know, if it's an AI tailored to me, will know all my swings and know what I need in those moments.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was kind of talking with wifey over this past weekend and was like, I'd love to get out there every once in a while. Maybe look at getting some clubs,
Yeah.
make a little change, and it's a great way to get more exercise, get outdoors a bit on the
Hmm.
weekends. So something I was looking into, and then this article came across. I'm like, wow, money saver. Don't always have to get this take should include not just golf caddies because you mentioned the robot sense of
Hmm.
things, and there's multiple ways that you could use them, but also just golf instructor in general.
Hmm.
It's like this is a cost efficient way to upload a video, free in most cases.
Hmm.
Fix my swing. Don't know how critical AI will get of you. I'm sure if I showed my swing, it would be like too busted to fixed. How long do you
Yeah.
got? And then go from there and do a step by
Yeah.
step process. It's stuff like that can make all the difference. And to see a pro use it is kind of eye opening, but also I feel like kind of innovative in a sense. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, like if you're not finding it elsewhere, turn to AI these days. It's just one of those things. And then you just bringing up the like the robot thing and kind of coursing the going over the course and stuff like that. It just made me think of like the robots of the future. Like I would honestly wouldn't mind skipping the golf cart part of it if I just had a robot caddy that just was good with AI, would correct the swing as you go, and then had just like a built-in cooler and could
Yeah.
just make you drinks,
Yeah.
cocktails as you go.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
maybe next 5 to 10 years we'll see that.
Yeah.
Thinking bench
The
warmers, robot butler.
oh yeah, that type.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
it's great.
bar cart girls might not be too happy about that because, like I said, I think they
Ah,
make a lot of money
here's
uh,
another one.
doing that. But yeah, like I say, hey, AI does so much. They can have a cooler, make you your mixed drink, know what you want, and have it ready.
Oh yeah,
You have a bad shot. They're like, oh hey, here, take a double.
yeah. Take a double. Yeah, get to that point. But yeah, no AI. I mean, it's being used in so many other sports. It's just interesting to
Mhm.
see how it's being used in golf, and I feel like that this is something that could really help everybody. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, interesting out of Bryson.
Yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Like I say, we'll talk a little bit more AI in sports because we got a little bit of info from Adam Silver finally coming out of
Hmm.
whatever hole he was hidden in the last like few months of the playoffs, to talk
Yes.
about AI. So we'll touch a little bit about that. But like I said, AI is in every single sport. AI, I also consider analytics. Like I say, if you're using analytics in sports, you're using AI.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is the new money ball with AI, in a
Hmm.
sense. It's like, dude, like how many other ways are you going to use them? Are you going to use them for play calling? I think that
Hmm.
there's been uh, what I don't know if we talked about this, John, or if I just heard it from somewhere, but I think somebody was criticized recently for using AI to draw up plays, and I want to say it was in football. And I don't know if it was a college program or even an NFL program where somebody was like literally utilizing AI to make play calls, and it's like, you know, you can, right? I don't know if there's like illegal use of that or, but it just seems like
Yeah.
spark notes for somebody getting millions of dollars. It's just like use your own head.
Yeah. I feel like we talked about it, but like I can't think of what team. I want to say it was probably college. I don't think it was professional.
Yeah.
I think it was a college team, but yeah,
How do they?
for them to use AI, it reminds me of what's the movie? Waterboy, or is
Uh
it
huh.
Waterboy? Where they like go into like a video game and they're like, we're just using video game plays. Is what
Mm.
was it Waterboy where like before he gets his confidence, like he's using like plays off a video game. I forget what movie it was, but
I forget that too.
yeah, but there was one um, that they did that. So like I say, if it works, kudos. But I don't know. Like I said, with AI, I see the benefits of it. Um, I'm trying to look it up. The benefits of AI, but like I said, you need that human element, and I think we've always talked about it. Like I think AI is going to be very useful if you use it correctly. I think a lot of other industries are already using it, um, but it's not going to be perfect because, like I said, you still need a human element, and I think we understand that piece. I know there's a lot of people that just hate AI, but it's like you got to get with the times. It's gonna be useful. It's gonna be needed. Um, so
Yeah, absolutely. While you're looking up the movie, I was trying to look up what team used AI, what coach used AI for um, play calling.
uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, again, I don't, there's nothing wrong with it. Well, I mean, there is things wrong with it. You seem like you don't know what you're doing in order to
Yeah,
research and call plays. But I guess there's no like you're not going to necessarily get in trouble for utilizing it. I can't really find it. Well, yeah, I guess other people are kind of saying like certain people get jobs from utilizing AI, and then you get hired for certain roles within
yeah,
a football program. But hey, use it how you wish. It can be a tool that a lot of us use for in our
yeah,
day to day for numerous other reasons. I don't suppose it's a huge issue as to why you do it, but
yeah,
yeah, interesting.
yeah. Oh, yeah, but yeah, we'll see where AI goes. I'll send you this take, but I'm gonna step out real quick once I send it
Yep,
to you, Tim. Okay, but
I'll have some fun here.
yeah,
All right, got my take here. The opening of the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art in September may end up being important to American culture, more important to American culture than any new blockbuster movie released this year. Not because of Star Wars, but because of it's a billion dollar argument that comic books, illustration, concept art, movie storyboards, and so-called popular art deserve the same respect as traditional art. Yes, this is literally a platform for all of those things. We can discuss what Marvel's done, on another kind of Disney avenue, the art behind that, the comic books that really started it. You think of Star Wars. There's the main movies. There's TV shows that go along with it. And then there's of course other books that you can read about it, and just thinking back to like the artistry that is within the movie making when it comes to Star Wars. Mentioned it here a couple weeks ago that my wife Jen got into watching Star Wars, and we were going through the episodes. She decided to start with episode one and kind of follow it chronologically, and we got into the later episodes that were filmed first back in, I believe, like what, the late 60s, early 70s, and just looking at the film editing, how good the filming was back then was outrageous to kind of look back on. They were way ahead of their time with a lot of those movies. It's kind of a league of their own, and was, I'm sure, pretty groundbreaking for a lot of other movies, during that time and heading into the future with what they were able to make. So, it's really been a huge stepping stone for that. And, thinking back to like comic books, the illustrations, the concept art, the movie storyboards, even recently with Pixar, I saw a video of one of the lead animators of Toy Story, and he was showing his edits of, I believe, Woody and one of the scenes, and just he was like pulling it all up on like a Macintosh computer from the early 90s, and just seeing what they went through each and every scene was insane. Just the click through, just to even get somebody, Woody, to like give a half smile. You're moving several buttons, programs in order to even get him to do that. And then to think that they're doing that for every single movement, and to make that movie as realistic as what it turned out, insane. It's jaw dropping. And it's absolutely insane to see the passion. We talk a lot about artists, and art is their passion, and it comes through on paper. A lot of people pay millions upon millions of dollars for certain types of art, and a lot of it, they think beyond what is on the paper, and they think about like the emotion that went behind it. They think about trying to put themselves in the shoes of that artist, and trying to picture, what kind of concept they were going for. And the way that I kind of relate that to, what I saw out of the lead animator for Toy Story with Woody, and those very small movements, is like, obviously that's an incredibly tedious process, but the only thing that I think would be driving him to continue on with that would just be passion. And I think that's what gets you through a lot of it. And that's how you kind of correlate, I feel like, a lot of, just pop art, that we saw all throughout history, Picasso, all the big names, and correlating that to everything from Pixar animation to Marvel comics to Star Wars, and the list goes on and on and on. John, so you're back. I really got into it. I think you're muted. You're muted. Sorry. But yeah, no, I really got into it, John. Basically correlated. I brought up the fact of, Toy Story in one of the Pixar filmmakers. And just to even get Woody to do a half smile, the amount of clicks and windows he had to pull up on like a early 90s Macintosh, outrageous. So the drive and passion is kind of what carries them through it.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so cool about this, because what it's bringing art now, art that people probably didn't consider that type of art, to reality. Like you mentioned, illustrators, what they do in illustration, people probably think it's easy. It's on a computer. It's not the same as Picasso painting the 60 chapels, all that. But it's like, no, it still takes that long. Some of these animated movies take years to make, just to do the animation, and then it's the voice work. Star Wars, developing a trilogy like that, and all the props, like it's insane. Comic books, people probably think making comic books is easy, but it's actually really hard. For work, an activity I used to do with kids that I used to work with. I do more supervising now, but one of the things is we created our own comic books, and like when I was doing that activity, like every now and then I would just get stuck, because I was like, how do I just continue this comic? It's just so much thinking, critical thinking, and time. And I think what Lucas Museum of Art is going to be, it gives back to gives back to art in a different form, and it's really for us nerds. It's a place,
Mm-hmm.
to, those that like this type of thing, are into animation, know that they can make a difference for the future and be remembered for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And when it came to Star Wars, I brought up, just Jen getting really into
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars recently, and we talked about, a couple weeks ago how, she decided to start with episode 1, work our way through,
Yeah.
and obviously those older movies came after a few of those episodes. And looking back, like it's just the correlation of the filmmaking really isn't that far off. Like if you really think about it, what a phenomenal job they did 50 years ago now, just
Mm-hmm.
with those movies is
Yeah.
obscene. Like it's jaw dropping.
Yeah.
So and I agree with you. I feel like I have these moments where it might be like Jen runs into the store. I don't want to be on my phone, but I'm chilling in the car with the kids. Sometimes I'll just grab like a pen and paper, just random in the car, and I'll start drawing something. But I always find myself like drawing like characters of, I don't know, just SpongeBob or
Yeah.
people that you can think of. I never, it's very rare that the original thought of like trying to come up with something comes straight off, because it's like, man,
Mm-hmm.
those moments I don't really want to think as hard as what it takes. And just thinking about like the creators of all these Marvel
Yeah.
comics, even in the storylines of each and every single character, in all the
Mm-hmm.
little side stories and side quests that can incur,
Mm-hmm.
it's insane. Like
Yeah.
just the depth of not only like knowledge of creating that, but the emotion that has to go behind it too.
Mm-hmm.
Seamless. So,
Yeah.
it's a lot. If honestly, you can make that really hot take argument of this, and that's why we're in banter takes here. Of this is tougher art than the paintings that you put on the wall. That's going to be, we might have.
You need to leave.
Tim.
Really tough critics coming at us right now.
You're touching a tough subject, but I agree. It could be a little bit harder than some of the art nowadays, But like I said, but some of the art nowadays is looking a lot more like comics. I see a lot
Yeah.
more art looking more like this instead of just splashing. But even just those splashes, like I say, it probably takes a lot of mind thinking of how you're going to make the splashes look, how you're going to throw the brush. But yeah, I'm on the website right now for the Lucas Museum, and like some of the first pictures I see, and one of the ones I didn't know, but I'm happy that they're showing, Mad TV. Remember the Mad TV comics?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The little redheaded freckled kiddo that's just like in
Yes.
everything.
Yeah.
He's gonna be featured there, and like I said,
Oh.
that's art piece, because like that brought the Mad TV comics, but it also brought TV show, brought
Mhm.
comedy. Something that everybody enjoys. I see a picture of Wonder Woman, Where the Wild Things Are, the kid show, or the kid book that we would read. Wolverine. There's a lot, for art wise that they're including in here. Star Wars. Trying to see what this one is. Robert Colescott. Like I said, there's some, like I say, we may not know it as great. Winnie the Pooh, what Winnie the Pooh did back then, and now how it's such a beloved character. That's something that's going to be preserved in history now here at this museum, where before it was something people would remember, but never in a building.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm also seeing like the cover art of Where the Wild Things Are.
Mm-hmm.
Peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's all here. Man, that's
Yeah.
that's super cool. And then you don't even have to stop there. We can talk about the art of the architecture of the building,
Oh yeah.
if you want to put that as art, because that building looks extraordinary. Like it just
Yeah.
looks like very futuristic. The lawn, like that they have on top of the roof, the landscaping of it all, absolutely insane. It's just it's crazy. I mean, it's all in one. Really cool monumental type thing to have in LA as well. I think that this is going to be a cool one to go and visit. Yeah, I'm definitely going to find myself going there a lot. I think that looks pretty sweet.
Looks
I
like
would,
a spaceship or something, right? That's what
it
I always
absolutely
see when I
does.
first look at it.
Yeah, no, it totally looks like one. It looks like it landed there, and they're like, well, the best cover stories would just make this the Lucas Museum.
Yeah, it could be.
You know, Star Wars makes sense. We already took the aliens out of the ship. Museum it is. But I mean, we're only 112 days away now. Going to open September 22nd, 2026. Yeah, man, that's freaking sweet. I'm thinking about the take right now too, and I'm just thinking about like New York art shows, those like wine shows. People are going to want to fight us if we ever show up at one of those. So sorry about
that. I think we could only go to this one at Lucas because we believe in the, you know, and like I say, I don't think we're trying to put down that art. I'm never going to put down the art because I enjoy drawing. I enjoy art. Don't know it that well, but like I say, I have a respect for it. But what comics, these creators, and you know, just sort of that nerd life, what is created for me in my life, my wife's life, thing for you, your wife, you know, and now your kids, even, you know, learning about a little bit of this, it's something that touches us a lot more because the Mona Lisa, there's only one of them. And if you ever want to own a piece of that art, you got to pay millions, which the normal everyday Americans can't. But comic books we could get for 25 cents in comic bins. You know, the newspaper has all the peanuts, like little clip cutouts. Like it's a simple get, you know, and that's something that it's going to be remembered for forever.
Yeah, you know, in that brings up another thing too. And you know, all jokes aside, I do you know, appreciate art and what it is because, you know, it's provided so much in everybody's life, whether it's photography. You know, we can never count out, you know, the photographers that do stuff for like National Geographic. I think that their annual, I believe it's an annual award for best wildlife photo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an incredible, you know, accomplishment to win that award. And then I know that some amazing stuff's come out of there. Obviously, art museums, the Mona Lisa, like you mentioned. You know, it's stuff that millions upon millions of people gather each and every year to go and look at. And it's just one singular painting that was painted at one point in time that, you know, is caught on forever and always. And we have murals everywhere. And, you know, it's something to really admire. And I think that's what's so cool about the culture of a lot of California, you know, LA. You know, there's awesome. I saw we were coming back from Disneyland a couple of weeks ago, and over there off of the 5 freeway close to downtown, there's a really huge Fernando Valenzuela mural. And I'm like, man, not a Dodger fan, but I appreciate Valenzuela, and I appreciate that mural a lot too. Like, really sweet. And just to think about the size of it and the art that goes into even things like that. You know, just urban stuff. Super cool and neat. And then, you know, coinciding a lot of that, you know, it's been displayed in filmmaking. So I think that this is going to be a great display for, you know, everything that, like you said, it's provided our lives, the entertainment factor of it all. And then another point I want to get through here real quick too, John, is, you know, even like people thrifting, in the knowledge that if you have decent knowledge of art and you recognize some type of artist and stuff, like I'm sure we've all at this point seen that one show on PBS that, you know, it's those finds and those people bring them to those art shows and they don't know what they have. And they're like, yes, that really old button is actually $500,000.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they're like, wow, crying. I mean, I'd cry, you know, you know, and then I'll see on TikTok, because I like watching those types of shows or, you know, videos that people make. I came across a guy that he went to Goodwill and found a very famous painting recently by a very famous artist from Mexico. He's choosing because he just loves the art to display in his house, but I guess on resale it's six figures. And it's like,
Oh man,
dude, and you found that at Goodwill for a few bucks. It's
Yeah.
like not everybody knows what they're giving away.
Yeah.
You don't know what you have your hands on. And I think that's where it would be really cool to kind of learn more about the art. And we see it each and every day more than we know. So
yeah.
it's awesome.
No, yeah, it's awesome. Like I say, art. Like I say, it's not something we're ever gonna put down. I think we made that comment because it is just as hard as other art, and maybe even harder. Because like I say, with animation, if you don't know how to use a computer, you're not going to be able to do it. But same thing with art. If you're not good at the strokes, you're not going to be good at it. And the Mona Lisa will come out looking like a stick figure if I try to do it. Even though I consider myself
Likewise.
a decent artist and could do decent art, but yeah, with what you're sharing, like those finds. I saw a video a while ago, and it was in New York, and this guy, it was an old man selling art on the street, and it was Banksy art. So if you know Banksy, uh,
Sounds familiar.
yeah, big artist, like he does a lot of the like it looks like graffiti art.
Oh, and he goes all
But
over the world, right?
yeah,
He'll do like
But
buildings, right?
yeah, he'll do buildings. He's
Wow.
gone into like
Yep.
museums, done it, put his art there. I think one iconic one, the little girl with the heart balloon holding
Okay.
that. So,
Mhm.
but this guy was selling Banksy art, and when you're walking down in New York and you're just seeing those street vendors, you think, oh, it's all replicas, it's all fake. But it's like this guy was selling it for $25, and there was one guy that's like, oh, I need art for my house, and he bought like 4 pieces, not knowing that they were authentic Banksies, and he bought them for $25. Like,
Oh my
he has it
gosh.
in his house. Now he probably knows about it, and he's probably making tons of money. But it's like not everybody knows what actual big art is, because like I said, that was just sold in the streets and out there for everybody. And people in New York know what Banksy art is, but nobody was able to spot that it was real. People thought it was fake.
That's insane. Yeah. No, see, and that's where, studying up on it, kind of understanding the true passion that goes behind it kind of will lead you to a lot more of that knowledge. I think that, I feel like I've probably just seen way too many like random amateur artists that, are poking holes in the bottom of a gallon of paint and, letting it fly across their garage. But hey, you know what? That kind of art is fun too. We all had fun in elementary school, dipping our hands in a plate full of paint, then slapping it on, a piece of paper, and then making a turkey out of it. We all did that back in the day. Form of art, still art.
It is.
It
is still art.
I called it art too, and I don't know if you ever did this, Sean. This is going to be just side tangent here. You ever put a lot of Elmer's glue? I might sound really psycho right now. Do you ever put a lot of Elmer's glue on your hand and just peel it off after like it's just skin?
Sneak skin. That's what I always used to
Love
call
that.
it.
It's so badass. I would do that again today if I had a lot of Elmer's glue and just be like, Jen would be like, she'd understand it, but she'd be like, why? Why now? Therapy.
Yeah, show your kids how to do it, and then it's like, no, Tim, don't.
That's the problem. Yeah, can't introduce it.
Yeah,
only at school.
They catch on, and then it's like, oh man, that's not gonna be good.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, but hey, I'm even looking to my left. Ariel was coloring earlier today, and it's great to see. She even drew me during my lunch break today, and put the beard on there. It was like just big old beard, way bigger than what I got it now, but I appreciated it. I'm like, it's respect for the beard.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. It comes at all levels, and yeah.
So like I say, there's a respect to the arts, but I think with this take, what we're trying to say is what Lucas Museum is going to do is going to bring respect to those other arts that probably were never recognized in museums the way, Banksy, Da Vinci, Pablo Picasso, all those artists from so long ago, even before our times, have created. It's going to be in that same area. Stan Lee is going to be a big guy to think about there. But yeah, I'm excited for it because, like I say, it's for us nerds. And then have you seen some of the like Star Wars stuff that they're gonna have?
No. What do
Yeah.
we got?
So they got a full size General Grievous in his little like that little thing he was riding on in episode 3. Like,
Is it on the website?
what they're gonna. I don't know if that's on the website or on their Insta.
It's gonna be so badass.
Yeah, they have the ships from episode 1 that Anakin was in, the yellow ones.
Oh, hell
from
yeah.
Naboo. Yeah, like a full size of that there. So you could only imagine what other replicas and stuff from Star Wars, which a lot of us love, will be included in. Seems like he's also going to include a lot of storyboards of like not just Star Wars, but like Indiana Jones, other things he's done. So it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, no, that's badass. I think that's gonna be super sick. What they're gonna have, and I think that just those little monumental things are gonna be awesome. I wonder if they're gonna have the chance to build lightsabers there as well.
You never know.
Yeah, you just have a bunch of people just walking around with those like they do at Disneyland. Yeah, it'd be super sick. You know, and even just some of those like small things that they have with Star Wars. You know, they have small like little collectibles these days. Jen's kind of gotten into that. They're called what are they called? They're like some type of wristband where like those snaps where you like snap it on your wrist and it cuffs. Oh, it's a cuff. It's a wrist cuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And they have different ones, and I guess they're hard to find, but Jen was able to find like 9 of them the other day. Not for resale, just general collecting, everybody. We're not scalpers. Can't deal with scalpers. But there's like a Darth Maul one. There's Obi-Wan that she got.
Nice.
You know, it's awesome. And
cool.
It just opens up more and more, I feel like, you know, to things like that. And those are fun things that you can introduce your kiddos and, you know, and they're wearing them around the house all the time now. So fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Lucas Museum of Art. Let's see how it goes. Opening up September, so we're getting closer. You know, you got to take a time to go vlog it, go show a little bit of it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we need to take a banter trip over there for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you this next one, John. But I think that this is going to be a good way to coincide and move us into NBA playoff talk and setting up for the NBA Finals. Yeah. But I will send this one your way.
So Luke Cornett, defender of the baskets and innocence. Yes.
Wow.
What this Luke Cornett guy? Only a few months ago, we were bashing his name for canceling Magic City Night in Atlanta with the Hawks. But what he did in these playoff series, some of his blocks, I didn't know this guy could jump. There were a few plays I would see him. He wasn't really getting off the floor. But he has stepped up as a good reserve for San Antonio. And, you know, he defended those baskets. And, you know, not just the innocence of people in Magic City, but the innocence of our NBA eyes and not having to see OKC in the finals again. I think we were all getting ready to be miserable again for these finals. And like I said, we'll go into it. We're going into, I think, probably some of the most exciting finals we're going to see in quite a while. I can't remember the last time. Probably Lakers Celtics is the last time we had this type of hype. And that was Kobe era, you know. And if you think about that, that's a long time ago.
Yeah. What was that? Like 09? 09 season, I believe. When they took down the Celtics, Lakers, and then happened the other way around too, right? Celtics defeated them also. So trading blows. Yep. Yeah, absolutely iconic. And I completely agree. And I think both storylines are completely there. You have one team that hasn't been to an NBA Finals in decades. So, them making it back, the city that they're in, is a massive, if not the biggest hub of all sports and media combined in the U.S. and arguably the world. And then on the other side of the court, you have Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. That are they on the verge of a dynasty? Or are we on the verge of seeing the next greatest basketball player of all time? Is he going to get himself into the GOAT conversation? It's certainly heading that way. I think that there was a ton that happened in that OKC series, those back-to-back wins to kind of close it out, and that Game 7 altogether. The grit that went into it, the blocks that Cornette had were insane. That one, at the end of the game against Hartenstein was absolutely insane. It was awesome to watch. It was impactful, arguably saved the game. It turned out to be really a hero of that. The emotion that went into Wemby at the end of it, but not even that altogether. Like the side, the team altogether that the Spurs have with, Castle, Stefan Castle. You have, just all their other guards that were hitting big shots throughout the game.
Champagne.
You have Harper.
Champagne.
Yeah, 20 points, I believe, in that game. Harper, just one off. He had a great closeout in that game. It has all the elements of all these youngsters coming together and can really build something. We're not even talking about, De'Aaron Fox didn't have a couple great games, but, at the end came through when they needed him. And you forget that he's even there. So it's crazy how stacked they are.
Yeah, no, it's a stacked team. What they have, it's gonna be scary to see them. Is this Wemby winning this year cements him as one of the greats? Because, like I say, he's still so young. If you look at it, 3 years into his NBA career, and the shots this guy does at his height, insane. His 3 ball is clean. That logo shot he had and just made it like it is awesome. So it's cool to see the Spurs here. The Knicks back at it. You hit on it. Haven't been here since '99. Big thing. Last time the Knicks were in the finals against San Antonio, and it was Tim Duncan. Pretty much a young rookie, or a few years into his career, helping this team go and win against the Knicks. So a rematch of the 99 final, it's going to be electric. I think it's still the same type of storyline. The veterans on the Knicks, Brunson, where it was Latrell Sprewell, that core group there, Ewing, but then the young guy, Tim Duncan. Now it's Victor Wembanyama. In the Spurs, just a young team. How they got so many top draft picks the last 4 years, I think it is. So lucky, because like I say, it helped them get to this point. But I'm excited. New York needs a change. They need to start winning in a sport, because they haven't won in a sport in so long. And the Knicks doing it's just storybook.
Yeah, no, it sure is. It's storybook. It has the setting for everything. And again, you talked about it. I think that I'm just so pumped that OKC is not there. We don't have to listen to OKC dynasty talk any longer after their one championship game. I do want to talk also about how terrible Chet Holmgren was in that Game 7.
Yes.
He was awful. He is honestly the most passive 7-footer I've ever seen in my life. Like, I heard it today from somebody. He needs to go somewhere that is known for historically short people and just live there for a month to realize how tall he is. Just come back and realize, his surroundings and where he's at, because he does not use his size. He would try these weird hezzy moves, pass it back out. It's like, dude, you are 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do something. I think he had 4 points, 4 boards in the game.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just, you can't collapse like that. And they just paid him, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did he get an extension?
I think he might have.
He
I
might
think
have.
before this season he got paid.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what he did, and it's like Wemby has his number. This guy was scared of Wemby. He probably saw the videos of Wemby pissed off when they were back as kids winning it over Wemby and how angry he was. He knew Wemby wasn't going to stop. But it's like I said, not taking anything away from Wemby, but Wemby ain't Shaq built. Wemby ain't fucking Robinson built. You know, back in the day, Robinson was pure. I saw a video of him when he was in the playoffs. That dude was pure muscle, man.
Shredded. Yes.
Like, and at that size, like if you Holmgren, Wemby should be scared of a guy like that. You know, Dwight Howard, Wemby's not built like that. So it's like you have the same advantage. You were just scared. Wemby has your number, and it's unfortunate. You know, I think OKC may look at trading him because like he's not the guy. He's not that big 7-footer. You know, if they want to be successful, they got to make a move. And there's a few youngsters out there. They got 2 first-round picks. Rumor has it they're going to try to trade up pretty high into the draft. Like I say, well, could they be back in the finals? Maybe, but this flopping ball looks like it's going to be ending for Shea. So we'll see if he continues doing what he has been doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just quickly going back to the Chet deal. Perfect timing for him and Oklahoma City. They are about to jump into his contract that is 5 years and $239 million. Literally starts next season. So it can reach up to $250 million with add-ons. So you guys owe him a lot. Bummer, dude. So yeah, I don't know. Do you look at trade possibilities? I don't know who wants to take on that contract based off of that performance. Like, well, you know, maybe he'll pull through later, and he does have 1 ring at least he can account for. But you know, and then we've been preaching it. What is Shea without the fouls? You know, and you know, in these last 2 games, we didn't see quite as much of it. And you know, SGA, he did have, you know, a pretty good game 7, you know, scoring wise, it was a good solid game. But you know, the big thing was there's never a doubt that he's a good player. It's just that he doesn't have to do flop first, worry about the shot second. And it's like, dude, you can be an all-star, you know, average in the mid-20s, upper 20s, but maybe not be that MVP as consistently. You know, it's a very annoying watch. And I feel like, you know, Commissioner Adam Silver listened to me. I think he shaved his eyeballs with the hair that was growing there, like I mentioned last week. And it's just the timing was immaculate. Had to have been listening somehow. And finally came to his senses and realized this is a shit product. I don't want them in the finals, and let's make the correct calls. And the Spurs prevailed.
Yeah, I think they saw. I think they heard all the rumblings. It's funny because, like I said, I'm not trying to say that we're pioneers, but we've been talking this since regular season. I don't think anybody talked about the flopping as much as we did. How much we hated it. How much it just took that taste away of liking the NBA out of our mouth, and why we didn't watch it. And now, last week, you know, before this game 7, every news outlet was talking like it's horrible basketball. It's pushing me away from the NBA. This flopping. And it's like, we've been saying this for the last year. And it's like people like OKC fans come at us, but they know the truth. They just are flopping, and you know they got lucky being able to win one that way. They're not going to win another. But it's like we've been talking about it, and like I said, what Shea has done, like I say, brought back the old James Harden, you know, in his Rocket days. That just took us away from basketball because it wasn't entertaining. So, and yeah, Adam Silver, like you told him to, shaved his eyebrows, able to see a little bit better, and saw that for NBA to be successful after this season, it's not just bringing AI to make calls, in the future. It's giving a great finals, and Spurs versus Knicks is that great finals. If it was OKC, viewership I don't think would be hitting the all-time high it's about to hit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, seeing all this does make me want to go back to a couple of our videos that we had mid-season where we had just a posse of Thunder fans attacking us from all angles. Really pissed. We certainly struck a nerve. But I would honestly love to have one of those moments of Thunder fans come out to play. Because, yeah, I mean, we told you. And here you guys are with all of us, Clippers, Warriors fans. Welcome. Welcome to Cancun vibes. Because quite frankly, I mean, we were giving the hard, honest truth from early on, and it's a crap product. Everybody kind of caught on to it, and now there's a bigger lens on the game. And I think, actually, I know we finally have a finals that, is going to be old school basketball. I think that Knicks fans bring it. I think that they're all old school mentality there in New York, and I appreciate that. And then Wemby and the rest of the Spurs, nitty gritty, just let those random, hatred towards other players, that vibe just runs deep in their blood. So it's old school basketball, and I think that just both of these historical franchises bring that on. So this is going to be freaking awesome. It's going to be a good finals. Finally, we can say that about basketball.
Yeah. The Spurs are bringing some of that Popovich era, which was amazing basketball. What he brought. I think the coach is under the Popovich tree, right?
He sure is. Yeah. No, he's handpicked by Pop. Yeah, sounds like Doc Rivers already too.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
For all that yelling, But it's like, this is going to be a great finals. Yeah, I think we got to go back, pull up some of those clips. And like I say, we always do this. We call ourselves Banter on the Rocks and the Vibes, because we banter about this stuff. But we've always seen for so many years, even before we started this podcast, that a lot of our banter takes that we would just talk smack about would come to fruition. And we've seen that for the last year. All the KC talk we've had now, OKC football takes we've done. There's so much we have talked about before it's even been out there in the main media, that I'm just like, we know our shit. People say like, you guys make microphone, equipment too cheap. It's not that cheap. And honestly, look at all our stuff. We've been talking about this for a long time. So don't be saying we're just saying it because we're here trying to rage bait you guys. It's just honest facts that we think about your guys' teams and what we know about sports.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I get it. Sports is about defending your team. But sometimes you honestly just need to face the music. And I face it as a 49ers, Giants, Warriors fan all the time. And I will happily admit it here on the podcast, just for all to see that, I made a freaking top 10 booklet of what Kyle Shanahan's book should be called. Like, believe me, I'll take one for the team, and go after my own people. But yeah, it's just part of it. It's banter. But I'm happy that we're able to kind of discuss these things, John, and kind of our predictive, topics that we talk about. It's like, dude, there's no wonder it's kind of following up as we headed into Banter on the Rocks. And it's just really fun and lively to kind of see it happen. But again, bantering is what we're all about, and that's what we're here for, and we appreciate it. And I think that we do need to have a little on podcast banter go on, John, and I think we need to pick sides for this finals.
Yeah.
I haven't done much thinking, but I'm okay either way.
I'm okay either way. I think I've been thinking about it a lot, and I like both teams. I've talked a lot about the Spurs, like Wemby. I talk about the Knicks, the fandom. I think I made a decision earlier today, and I wasn't sure what your decision was, but I'm going Knicks.
Love it. Okay, that's
Knicks. Great. And I think they win it in 6 is my prediction.
Knicks in 6. And it rhymes. It's going to be a good motto for you, John. I'm going to go Spurs in 7. And I think selfishly I want it to go 7. But, of course, I'm going to force my hand here with the Spurs. Again, I wouldn't have minded each side because I truly enjoy each of these teams, the players that are on them, the supporting casts of each team. The rosters are very well put together. I love both coaches. I talked very highly of Mike Brown last episode. Certainly the Spurs head coach is absolutely phenomenal. They have a true gem with their head coach, and he's going to be there just the Spurs way. He'll be there forever. Spurs, man. Look out. After watching that game 7-2, I'm pretty pumped on that too. I think they're ready.
It's a scary team. And like I say, I think the one concern I have with the Knicks is just fatigue, not playing as much. But it's also Spurs could be worn out. It could work in our favor. So, but yeah, I was thinking about it because like I say, I was on the edge of both Knicks, Spurs, what I like about each. And then I decided to go Knicks. I think that's a team I want to see win. I want to see Brunson prove all the naysayers wrong. Always being called too short of a guard to be able to lead a team. And we have to admit it. He has been the leader of the squad. Without him, they wouldn't win. So I want to see them win, and I want to see what happens in New York after a win.
That's good.
I want to see Gotham City come to fruition and have real superheroes have to save us because New York is gonna go crazy.
The scenes will be great. As Charles Barkley always says, I guess with me favoring the Spurs here, I want to see, a lot of happy people eating churros. As Charles Barkley always says, all the big women down in San Antonio love to eat the churros. He's hilarious every time that it comes up. And I know Shaq always busts up laughing. No, but I think that the Spurs team is going to be a fun watch, and I'll happily root for them too. Represent the West. Of course, Wemby. I'm a big fan of Wemby. I think he's really good for the league. I think that his mentality, not only his stature and just how unique he is physically, it's just, just the tears that even came down his face. You can tell how much it means to him. That's not happening with every player. So, phenomenal storyline, no matter how you look at it on both sides. If the Knicks do win, John, I think that you got to butter up a light post by the end, try to climb up.
Try to do that.
Sir, what are you doing? Knicks won. But we're West Coast.
Yeah. Hey, there still might be light out here when I do it compared to in New York.
There would be. Yeah, that's hilarious. There would be probably.
No, and honestly, there were two things I was going to bring up with NBA. First one, we talked about Wemby preseason. He was training to be Buddhism. He was out there being a monk. Makes a big difference. How many players do you think will do that this year?
I could honestly see much of that Spurs team join him on a trip over there in the off season. I could see that happening. Why doesn't a guy like Chet Holmgren try to do that?
Right.
Go recenter your mindset. I think that a lot of people could put that to really good use. It's just all about what mental strength and
Mm-hmm.
just having that
Yeah.
mindset and patience and
Yeah.
you name it. So, but I think that's a great point, John. I think we see an uptick. Maybe if they don't choose to do that path, I don't know, like what other alternatives are there to ayahuasca trips and dark caves? It depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, it's sort of that type of thing where you get the same benefits, but you're just not on a trippy drug. Where, like I say, I sent you the video of seeing just normal people doing this for their own well being.
Oh
And
yeah.
what I told you, I was like, if I was single, had no kids, had no wife, just a job, and I'd probably go do that for a few months, just to sort of reset myself, build that the mental strength that you need, because it looks intense, man. Like I said, when we saw Wemby do it, it looked intense. Some of these videos I see looks very intense. So but I just was I was just curious what you thought if others would do it. I think others should. Chet should be first one. He should be there over already. He should take the long course and be there the entire off season.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's something that could really be beneficial. I feel like you talk about the mindset of everything in you could do it for a few months. I think that those programs are very useful, but anybody with busy lives, even if you tried to do it just a few hours in one day,
Yeah.
like, or even just try to pick up like, just really anything, a small hobby, a quiet time of some sort. Just practicing what namaste and just getting that inner peace. Some people find it in different ways. This kind of takes me back. It just kind of made me think of it, where there's this one time I was going out for to join a wildland fire forestry team. And part of the physical abilities test was we went out to Piru area. And there's a lot of obviously mountainous terrain over there by Lake Piru. And there was a course that was set up. And basically the only parameters was, I think that they told us literally get your ass up the hill as quick as you can. And that's what we all did. And at a certain point, I'm in my mind, I'm tired as shit. I'm going through it. But that last 50 yards of a pure vertical, to the finish line, I was finishing at a decent place at that point. I was on all fours, grabbing at plants, weeds in the ground, old roots. And like I was jello in the legs, like I could barely move. And pushing myself through that, I found some type of like, wow, see, like you put yourself in that mindset of you want something and you want to finish something, you will go to all lengths to try to get there and get it done. And I feel like you can look at mental strength through that. You could look at it through becoming a monk for a month or getting a bunch of sticks snapped over your stomach in that one video you sent me. It's like, damn, that is badass, but also that's got to hurt. You could look at it a zillion different ways, but that just kind of took me back. It's a weird sense of vigorous therapy, if that's what we want to call it.
It is, because like I say, I think I've hit those situations. For me, I think it was when I did the Dopey run in Florida. So that's where you do a 5K on one day, a 10K the next, a half marathon the third day, and a full. So I think it totaled like 40 plus miles. And it was sort of like, did the first three fine, but the full marathon, like I hit a certain point where I was like breaking. But I kept on telling mentally, I was like pushing myself hard, and honestly, crossing that finish line, I had like tears in me because I was like, I did it. Like, not many people could say they did it, even with my body like giving up. My legs were shot for like weeks, but I was like, I did it. I felt so accomplished, and it was this like high I got because I felt so energized after that run, even though I was so much pain after. But yeah, it's that mental strength and mental mindset that you need to have. And like I say, you can tell Chet probably doesn't have it right now. Wemby's there. Wemby has had it. Even with the losses, he still is very, centered. And I think honestly, his one when he was it punched a player or like swung at a player,
Elbow, yeah,
elbow
after the
the last
rebound.
round, yeah, against Minnesota. I think he probably got a call from the monks, and told him like, hey, Wemby, remember, go back to your training. And ever since then he's been really centered, been really focused. So I think it's something great, and like I say, I wouldn't be surprised to see others do it, because like I say, it really changed Wemby and made him a better player this year.
Yeah, elbow strong, mind stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you gotta just think about. Yeah, you probably heard it. That and probably I also heard Greg Popovich kind of got after him on that too. Probably just called him a slew of names and said, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
But it seems like Pop has been such a great advocate for him too, and I think that's why it was such like a dream destination for a player like Wemby to land there. You mentioned Robinson, you mentioned Tim Duncan. Pop. It's just three absolute legends, and then two of the players happen to be bigs as well. Just there's nobody better to learn from. So, and what's awesome to see is he's using that to his advantage as well. He's not taking it shyly. You can tell he's a guy that puts in the time to learn from them. Also, he's got it all, man. It's just a matter of time until Wemby becomes in that GOAT conversation.
Yeah. So,
Go Spurs.
And then second question: if the Knicks win this, it ends a 53-year drought that they've had since winning a championship. Would you say this is bigger than Red Sox ending their drought, or even the Cubbies ending theirs?
In the NBA sense, yes, but historically in sports, I'll take those two over. Because I think the only reason I say that is because I lived it with my dad. He's had ancestors live their entirety of their lives without any Cubs success, and it was long lives. And my dad grew up going to Cubs games for a nickel, sitting in the bleachers, and never once saw them really even make the playoffs as much as, even getting close to a World Series. So when that happened, he was at the young age of 72 maybe when it finally happened for him. So I think that was one of my favorite sports moments, was letting him see that and witness that. But quite frankly, I'm correlating that to this. A lot of people are going to see this Knicks finals and the potential of them winning the same exact way, where maybe the length of time is obviously very long, not quite as long, but in a sense, like if you lifelong Knicks fans, you think of Spike. I mean, dear Lord, that dude's been attending forever. And I feel bad for him, but I love this for him now. So yeah, it's and I'm sure that there's a bit of spitefulness towards Timmy being able to be at these games, and he's like, man, you just showed up and you're already getting the success. So, but that's how I feel. I think others would feel the same way about the Knicks for sure. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I still think the baseball ones, the Red Sox, is one I could probably relate to, because I saw how Vera, her family, reacted, because they had generations of family members that never saw anything. So, and then Cubbies, like I say, I didn't know people personally, but the stories you say, it's the stories I always heard about with the Cubs finally winning it. And especially like some of the stuff they went through. That foul ball that one dude caught. That sort of that people thought it was. Yeah, you guys were just cursed. Like it's so much more stories of curses and stuff in baseball than the Knicks in basketball. I think the Knicks in basketball, in basketball terms, this is probably related to that, but it's not as big. I think Dolan probably brought a lot of the negativity, but he's finally bringing something positive. Spike Lee, once we win it, because I'm going for the Knicks, so we're going to win it, gets this. It's going to be a good feeling. And I did hear and read somewhere, they asked him, like, how are you feeling that Timothy's getting a lot of the attention? he pretty much said he didn't care. You know, he's there. He wants to see the team win, so he's okay with it. He's been part of
Good.
it. So I think that's really good, cool from him. And like I say, to me, like you can't call him a bandwagoner. You know, his lady maybe, but Timmy, you know, from photos I've seen, he's been a Nick fan since a small kid. So
Yeah.
true fan.
And his ball knowledge is great. Not just
Yeah.
in, I've seen him dish it out about Mac football, like
Yeah, yeah, I remember
respectable.
that.
Yeah, that's why this podcast is big fans of Timmy Chalamet. Because we respect the knowledge. If you know Maction, you know what you're talking about. It's good stuff. So yeah, no, Timmy gets all the credit just because you can't choose when you're alive. So, just lucky enough to kind of witness the success is kind of how you got to think about it. And, but some of these curses, man, are crazy. Like I found out that I guess the owner of the goat that they banned at the Cubs games way back when the curse first started, the owner of that goat passed away recently. And the Cubs went on to lose like 10 straight games after his death. And it's like, man, the curse is still like, it still lingers in some sense. It's crazy. And you can't, it's all about rituals, voodoos with, pregame stuff that, players stick to. And, but again, it's going to be fun. And I love the atmosphere that MSG has created. We talked about it last week with all these celebrities showing up. It's a great time, man. It's quite the profile.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are going to be watching it now because of the teams. So yeah, I'm excited for the NBA. But yeah, those were just two of those side questions I had for our NBA take. Anything else NBA, Tim, from you?
Steph Curry chose a shoe brand today.
Okay.
I think it's called Xiling. It's a brand out of China, I believe.
Okay.
Not any of the main ones here. If you're looking up, John, if you might want to correct me on the name. Li Ning. Sorry, Li Ning. Clay went with a Chinese represented shoe brand as well. So it's becoming a more popular thing to do. You have a guy like Steph Curry go and do it. It could catch on with a lot more players. And from what I saw, they're very well made shoes.
Yeah.
So
you gotta say they are well made shoes, because where's Nike, Adidas, Converse make their shoes?
All from there. Yeah.
All from there. Look in your shoes right now. 90% of your shoes are gonna say made in China, made in Shanghai, made in Japan, somewhere out there. So he's going to the source. Probably found a place that is very, very, not doing these like child sweat labor places, sweat factories. It's somewhere legitimate. So I think he really looked into it, and also I think it gives back to that fan base, because like I say, I think Steph is really popular overseas, especially in Asia. He was always a popular player. So giving back, being able to go there, create those shoes, and probably releasing them and having some big show releasing them over there is going to be big.
Absolutely.
So, no, yeah, it's really cool. I'm curious to see what the shoes look like.
Likewise, I think that there could be some cool stuff. There's been some really cool previous collabs with the Warriors and Chinese New Year. So, hopefully that's big. And obviously San Francisco's, has a very large Asian population, which, the collabs could be very cool. So I think it's going to be a great choice for Steph. But yeah, I think that's the other biggest news I saw from today. You made a big old announcement about it. So NBA draft's coming up pretty soon.
So we'll sort of see how that ends up going. But that's NBA. We'll talk a little bit NFL. Big NFL news today. First one, came out of nowhere. Myles Garrett getting traded from Cleveland Browns. And if you know Myles Garrett, defensive star, sack leader, sack record. So he is going to the Rams. So the Rams are getting Myles Garrett. Browns are receiving Jared Verse, which isn't a bad pick. Great player. but also 2027 first, 2028 second, and a 2029 third. Rams don't like draft picks, huh?
They don't like them probably because they just don't know what to do with them. that first round pick this year was a head scratcher and a half.
Yes.
Imagine if they would have just gotten a guy like Kenyon Sadiq to be there. Wasn't Mekhi Lemon available as well? Like you could have had another stud wide receiver. Like the options would have been there to pair with the best defense in football. I think, that's coming from a Niners fan. I think the Niners still have a very stacked defense. Unfortunately, a lot of injuries on it, but it doesn't touch what the Rams have made. If you were to point to a weak point, I think the only thing you look at is maybe their linebackers, but even they have Landman there, and he's a beast. That D-line is incredible with the addition of Myles Garrett. The secondary, incredible, because they already made the deal for McDuffie earlier. Absolutely stacked. And then locking in Stafford, and just all the elements that they have on the offensive side of the ball too. It's one final pop run here for Stafford, and it's pretty remarkable the lengths that they're going through for him to try to get him another ring.
I'm surprised he did that because, like I say, Stafford has at best 2 years, but one great year, and that's also with minimal work. Beast of a deal. Any other team probably would have given a lot more first rounds for Garrett plus a player. But Rams getting it done. Kudos to them. What that defense is going to look like. Yeah, linebackers is probably where their weakest, their weaknesses. But man, with that defensive line, you don't probably have to worry about it too much. They probably don't have to do too much. And yeah, their cornerbacks is where they were struggling last year. They already, filled those voids before the draft. Offensively, they're great. I think they need another wide receiver. I don't think Puka could keep up the work he's been doing the last few years. Devontae Adams, star player or ex-star player, but not the same guy he is. And I think that's where Kenyon Sadiq could have made such a big difference and taken some of that away from Puka. But we'll see. Like I say, I don't even know if they have any more first round picks, but they'll probably find a way to get more draft picks away for a wide receiver.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see what kind of deal that they can try to get done. Big feeling to me is they're not done with these deals. I think that they're still going to start to try to look for more. Like you mentioned, wide receivers in need. Let's see, how far they can get with that. I very stacked team altogether. As for, the not quite as important, but the Browns, they did get a decent haul. I think the addition of Jared Verse he's an incredible player as well. Probably a bummer for Jared Verse that you're going not only geographically from Los Angeles to Cleveland to play, but also the team that you're going to. It's got to be kind of a rough day. Great player, but maybe a play at a bigger contract there, right? Is maybe the grand scheme of things, but the Browns, I think that's just one of those things where it's a really tough thing to kind of do, but at some point they need some type of haul for Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, obviously exceptional player, but him breaking the sacks record is not getting them any closer to a Super Bowl. So relying on future drafts, probably not ideal either for the Browns. They obviously have been very unsuccessful with a lot of their drafts, especially offensively. Sorry, Browns fans, you guys have been in a rebuild for decades.
Yeah, and if you look at a 2027 first, like if they win the Super Bowl, that's what, pick 32? Not one of the high premier picks.
Nope.
Still a first rounder, so it's a quality player if you draft correctly. And then 2028 second and the third, like that's where could have they gotten more? Maybe, are the Rams going to have to pay Myles Garrett a lot? Yeah. When I saw this trade, first thing that came into mind was Myles Garrett wanting to get out of Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, his current partner, Chloe Kim, based out of LA, American snowboarder, and then I saw something online earlier today that said Chloe Kim was orchestrated all this and wanted her boy toy, you know, her boyfriend closer to her because she probably didn't want to go to Cleveland that much because not trying to hate on Cleveland, but Cleveland isn't as entertaining as LA.
No, not even close. We've all seen the movie Major League. Just even the opening scene. Yeah, short people got, and then it's just, you know, the freaking Cleveland skyline is just doom and gloom factories, and it's. My mom used to live in a part of Ohio that was, I think, a suburb of Cleveland, and she always told me it was the flattest place on earth and cold as hell in the winter, and that's about it. Boring as hell. Maybe it's changed, obviously, till today, but yeah, Cleveland, I've kind of heard much of the same about the city. And then, makes sense. I did think about that a bit too. It's like, yeah, you know, he's in a, you know, a relationship that, you know, I think she frequents the mountains out here in LA and trains over here. So it makes a whole lot of sense in that sense, but big day for him.
Yeah, big day for him. Could get him a Super Bowl, which is something, you know, every NFL player strives for. So yeah, kudos to Rams fans. You guys are.
I think Aaron Darnold comes back.
That's something I heard people saying that he better not, because Aaron Darnold comes back. Who's getting through that line? Nobody is. That is just because Aaron Darnold still is training, and that guy still looks like a beast. He could probably still destroy majority of those offensive linemen in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, he looks insane still. I will even say James Harrison could come back and do some damage, you know, on a few plays. That dude still looks like a freaking tank. So I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked. It's been what, 2 years removed of Aaron Donald now?
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Like I said, he retired young. I think he still has quite a bit in him. So if he comes back, should we even play the season? Just give it to them.
Especially being interdivision fans.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for you. God, you're the one that's gonna feel it probably the most out of a lot.
And just knowing our O line, you know, outside of Trent Williams lately, and it's like,
with Aaron Darnold,
man, brutal.
Yeah, you know, those games Brock Purdy's gonna have to prove his worth, what he got paid.
Yeah, no doubt, that's exactly it. But I will say, speaking of which, I am thrilled that we did re-sign Trent Williams exactly for this reason now, because Myles Garrett, I think, was interviewed talking about who was your toughest matchup, and you know, he said Trent Williams. So if he can give him hell, that's all I can ask for. So
that's all you can ask for. Yeah. So, and then the other trade that happened, AJ Brown. It was always rumblings that this is where he was going to go, but he is now a Patriot. So AJ Brown going to the New England Patriots. Philly getting a 2028 first and a 2027 fifth, from what I read. So 2 picks, a first and a fifth. I think a good move. AJ Brown still has a lot. I think AJ Brown still is tiers above Stephon Diggs, so I think it is a great move for the Patriots. I still think there's a lot of identity that they need to figure out because of how they got smacked in the Super Bowl. You know, I think quarterback is a question. Running back, they got to figure out who is their go-to running back. Wide receivers, I think they'll be okay. I think AJ Brown does it. And then just defensively, they got to figure it out a bit. But I think overall, good move for the Pats. Philly wanted to get out of this, so they get a first.
Yeah. You know, and you know, we kind of talked about it late in last season. AJ Brown seemed to be becoming a bit of a headache there. Most recently, Jalen Hurts, longtime friend of AJ Brown, wasn't in attendance for AJ Brown's wedding. I think signs pointed to him being at the Met Gala at that time. Other people are at the Mets Gala. It happens.
It happens. You get confused sometimes with those invites. They look the same.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it would have fooled me. But yeah, you know, it's I think good move for the Eagles, quite frankly. Now they're going to be well, they have Mekhi Lemon, right? Or that's who drafted him, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's your replacement. And this kind of felt like one of those deals that was set a while ago, and we heard about it, and we forgot about it for a bit, and then when it was allowed to be time, they now did it. So that's where we're at now. You know, the deal kind of came to fruition. Makes sense for the Pats. He's a much better asset, like you said, than Diggs was. That's about it. You know, I think it'll help a lot fantasy wise. Might be better, I think, for AJ Brown this year. Won't have so many dud games with now having a better quarterback thrown to him.
Yeah, no, for sure. Could be. And then my reunion with Mike Vrabel. You know, they were in Tennessee together.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
So could be, you know, they know each other. He played well in Tennessee, so like I say, it was a surprise to me when he was traded to the Eagles. But so something like you mentioned, we heard about a lot. You know, before the draft, this was what was going to happen. Sort of got forgotten about, but seems like moves are being made now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was one of those moves Vrabel did not want to make. So I think that there's some video that came out with that too. And he was pretty disappointed, but makes a whole lot of sense there. It kind of opens the door for what I feel like will be a pretty busy next couple weeks, months of possibilities of trades. I feel like the Rams aren't over yet either. So I'm thinking that my Niners are going to sit on our hands and probably not do jack shit. So watch everybody else do stuff.
I think the Ravens are the same. I don't think we're doing too much.
How's Pavia doing though? I want to know about how's the little guy.
I do not know how Pavia is doing. Probably partying somewhere, eating a bunch of crab cakes, and just getting really fat.
I don't see his jersey up there behind you, John. When is that coming in? Pretty soon.
That one's back ordered. There was way too many people that wanted it, including me. They're saying it might take a few years for it to arrive. You know.
But they well, I was going to say they could use such little material to make those jerseys, the replicas of Pavia's, you know. But man, I'm just waiting for that guy to change positions. He could be a decent little but not really. I mean, decent little backup running back kind of thing. You know, a little Darren Sproles.
Yeah, he could be wide receiver. Like I said, do the New Orleans QB. Why am I blanking on his name now? Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Threat.
Like I say, Taysom Hill was a good quarterback in college, BYU, you know, but then came to the NFL, did some quarterback, but played tight end, running back, and made a difference. Really gave a lot of life to the Saints when he was doing that. So if we could use Pavia that way and sort of save Lamar Jackson for the big games, I'm okay. And I'll say this: if Diego Pavia's on the team and we win a Super Bowl, I'll get his jersey.
Oh yeah, love that. That's great.
If he's on the team and we win a Super Bowl, I will get a Pavia jersey.
Oh, that is solid. If he happens to be the starter of that game, that's going to be even better. Like imagine Lamar goes down, Pavia comes in and leads them through the playoffs. Oh, that would be insane.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see what Pavia does. But yeah,
your freaking division just got even easier too. I didn't even really think about that yet.
Well, Browns weren't really anything.
Yeah, that's true.
They were always going to be number 4 in our division.
One
Just
less
made
hit
it
though
up.
for
Yeah, one less hit. No, we don't need to stress about them. Like I say, Verse, we still have to worry about Verse, but I think he's more manageable than Miles Garrett.
yeah.
So not too concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all there really was for NFL. Like I said, I think there will be a lot more coming out the next few weeks, getting ready for the off season. But yeah, that's NFL, and then our summer movie bash check-in. Tim mentioned it. We did this activity last year, picking the top 5 movies for each of us and seeing what they gross on opening weekend. Tim had another movie this week, Backrooms. I will say I contributed to this amount because I did go watch it.
Very
I'll give
nice.
my little take, but big week for them, 81,402,424.
That ties the same number, right, as Obsession? 81?
Overall, yeah.
Yeah, back to back. Obsession 81 million. This movie 81 million, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Good for Backrooms. Good for horror overall. Good for you, because I think with your Mandalorian last week, you're at about 160K.
Sorry, Mandalorian. My bad.
Yeah.
Wrong movie. Yeah. Obsession was on the mind. It's a great film too.
Yeah, you're at like 160 plus for 2 movies. So you only got 3 movies left, but the 3 movies you have left, I have my notes somewhere else, but you still have Odyssey. You have, what was one of the other ones?
Is it Moana? Or did you choose
Moana? Yeah, you chose Moana live action. And did you get Disclosure Day, or did I get that one?
I think I got that one.
And I think you got Disclosure Day.
Seen a lot more hype with that movie too.
Yeah. So like I say, it's gonna be a tough one. I think my first movie comes out this week, and I will say that it's gonna be a big factor. I think I need to get at least 60K from it to stay in it, or else I need some big numbers from other movies. But Scary Movie, that's the one I got coming up. Hopefully, it does well. I think it will do well. I don't know if if it'll reach 80K because of the rated R on it. But still, I think it'll be a good one.
We haven't had a scary movie for a while, right? So it's going to be a nice little bounce back, I think. It's hopefully it'll be pretty funny. I think that's what a lot of people are kind of looking for with it, and kind of just another reminiscing movie. And then shortly after that, you have Toy Story 5. I saw some advertisements out on the streets of Glendale this weekend, and it's certainly getting up there. I was trying to hide some of the ads. No, this is not going to help my movie. I think it's going to be a fun one too. So yeah, I mean, you got some heavy hitters, John.
Yeah, no, I know I still got Supergirl. I got Toy Story. I have Spider-Man, and then like I said, I think I have Scary Movie. And what was the last movie I picked? I'm trying to see. Like
Minions. Minions and Monsters.
Yeah. So Minions might be the one that really hurts me now that I see the previews and hearing a little bit about it. But who knows? Like I say, there could be something to it still. But Scary Movie, like I said, what's tough? It's coming out the same week as Masters of the Universe, so that could be a popular one. So if you have to choose one, go watch Scary Movie. I think it'll be a lot better movie than Masters of the Universe. But yeah, I think I need at least 60K from this movie.
Yeah, I think you'll get it. I think it'll be a pretty big weekend for it.
Yeah, I think it should be. And I think what's also going to help me with Toy Story, Taylor Swift just announced she's doing a song on it. So when Taylor Swift comes, the Swifties come running. So
absolutely,
that'll help.
I was talking with Jen about that a bit. We were kind of discussing if it was going to be like part of a like an actual role, or if it was going to be just a song. But song is going to be awesome. Yeah, good pairing.
Yeah, so
that movie just got better for you.
Yeah, so I'm hoping, like I say, those my top three could be really big money makers. But like I say, the one I'm concerned about, Odyssey, that's the one that could just
That's the
break.
beast.
That's the beast.
Hope that's the nail in the coffin. I think that one
Yeah.
will be a beast. Watch it only gross like 30 million the first weekend. Like everybody forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we'll
Be
see.
fun.
But yeah, so saw Backrooms.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Have you seen the YouTube videos King
Oh
Parsons
yeah.
made of Backrooms?
Just even like the indie creator versions of them all. Like I feel like they're always just very ominous, pretty cool. Yeah, leaves you on your toes.
Yeah, it does. I watched a few of those before we went to go watch the movie, and I showed it to Vera because Vera the whole time was like, I don't even know what this movie's about. Like, I don't know if I'm interested. I was like, watch this. And she was glued to her seat watching those YouTube videos
Yep.
because they are freaky. Like I say, you always have to look back, like, did I just see that? And that's sort of what this movie gives. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the suspense of it. I would say the scariest part of the whole movie was probably in the beginning. Towards the end, the entity, the monster of the film, it was a whole freaky scene. But overall, I think it's a good watch. I would say watch the YouTube videos, watch some of them. You don't have to watch all of them, but there were at least the first one. I saw another TikTok that showed exactly which videos to watch. Um, because it does look like one of his last YouTube videos that he made. It's sort of a continuation of it. So this is a continuation of what he was already doing.
Okay.
So overall, great movie. More of a psychological thriller. It makes you think. I think there's a lot of theories of like what happened at the end, what's actually going on, and from what I hear, the director says it's to your interpretation. So everybody's interpreting it a little differently. But yeah, I really like the movie. Freaky, kept me at the edge of my seat. Um, like I say, between this and Obsession, I still have Obsession a little higher, but I did like Backrooms. Obsession still is one that freaks me out just thinking of it.
Yeah. No, it's a movie that certainly looked creepy. Still haven't seen it. Love to go see it. Also would love to see Backrooms, hopefully soon. We were discussing even just going to try to go see Mandalorian recently, and I'm like, I gave the synopsis you provided, John, and we were like, we'll wait and treat it as if it was just a continuation of any other season of Mandalorian, because that was, your response coinciding with a lot of the critics' feedback. Just made it seem like one where, you have a sitter for a night, maybe see something that, has gotten a little bit more raved reviews, and the movies are out there for those. So, but no, I always picture like the Backrooms though, as those films that do a really good depiction of a scary dream. Like it's like you're walking through these rooms that look like the rooms that you've seen in a dream or daydreamed about in the past, and nothing really makes sense, and there's other options, and your body seems to drag you to options that you didn't want to go to or didn't want to see, and it feels like that's what a lot of that movie could be about, and it's a good depiction of a lot of that through the videos I've seen on YouTube and stuff. So
no, I went to our storage place because, like I say, we're moving out. We have a storage place. I was walking in because our storage place is all like our little units in the back. Like I was walking through it and I was like, no, I can't do this. I still went to it. I got what I needed to do and stuff, but I was freaking out because like when you go into the storage units inside, the ones that are inside, everything looks the same. You make one turn, it looks exactly the same, and there's so many different turns. I was like walking out and I saw the door and I was like, if I open this and I go into another storage unit, I am just gonna die. I was freaking out.
No, those are creepy. Is yours ones that has the sensor lights as well? Oh, dude, I hate that shit. I hate that. And then like it has those like, those general storage doors, the metal.
Yeah.
Man, one like breeze from the AC even shakes the whole door and you're like, what the what was that? And you're always looking. And I've been in, I've had storages in the past. My parents have. Man, if you have them even in the basement levels of those facilities, the worst.
Yeah, because it's even you hear someone open a door and come in because people go in, but then it's like you don't see anybody. You're like, what the hell? Who came in? And you hear anybody? Right. I don't see anybody.
It's crazy. And then just thinking about it's a lot of like stuff that you'd put in a storage, old items, family history stuff, archive things. It's like, dude, if any of those are like Conjuring dolls or weird mirrors. Stuff is trapped. And, you're thinking about that too. But I bet after watching that movie, man, that's tough. Like that's why that Passenger movie that I don't think has come out. Maybe it's come out. I don't know yet.
It's come out. Reviews, I haven't read good things. Okay. I think everybody said what you see in the trailer is probably the scariest piece of the movie.
It's a bummer. Okay,
but still, like I said, but yeah, like that movie, I don't want to watch now because of what I've read. I may watch it once it gets released, just because I'm so curious. I'm a horror fan, but like I said, that one freaky thing is like us driving into Ojai. We were coming back from the Hollywood Bowl on Saturday. We were driving in at like 1 a.m. We were like the only car through the windy road one way.
Yeah.
No, that's why a movie like that, if I watch it, I might have to stay in town for a few days and watch a lot of like happy movies to sort of throw it out of my mind.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those are those moments you kick on a Will Ferrell movie and get some laughs and get your mind off of it. Because it's just one of those movies you don't look in your blind rearview mirror. And, hard pass.
No, so that's one. One I want to watch. I know we saw the trailer to it, and I've heard mixed reviews about it. It's on streaming. Undertone, the one about the horror, like the
yes,
podcast.
The radio thing, the podcast. Yes, that looks creepy. That's
one I want to watch. So because I know they were looking into paranormal stuff. So we don't do much of that, but still, it just. I read some reviews. People say it was good. Some people say it wasn't. So curious about that one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Yeah. Has that released yet or not quite?
It's on streaming. I think it's Peacock. It might be on.
Oh, kind of a random one. But yeah, I got Peacock though.
Yeah.
Go watch that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the summer movie bash check-in. Like I said, we'll check in every week, sort of see where we're at. It's going on until pretty much end of July. So still 2 months to go. But yeah, and like I said, we'll always talk if we've gone to see movies, our takes on them. But that's another episode of Banter on the Rocks. Thank you everybody for hanging out, bantering with us today. We say it every week, but seriously, the support you guys do show us, logging on to TikTok Live, watching us on YouTube every single week is really, really amazing. So we thank you guys. And as always, if you enjoyed these episodes or this one, do us that favor, hit that subscribe, follow button, leave a comment, leave a rating, and just share with somebody that might like the topics we're talking about. I think we discuss a lot of things on Banter. And like I said, we enjoy the comments.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we talk about all certain things, sports, we talk art, we talk, you name it. So, if you didn't like my art take, you didn't like us, talking about OKC as much as we do, get at us. Banter on the Rocks, what we do. We enjoy, the back and forth, good, bad, whatever. Again, uttering what John said, we appreciate each and every one of you, taking the time out of your day, doing what you're doing, listening, watching. You guys are awesome. We love doing this, and we'll continue to do so each and every week. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And until next time, keep those drinks cool, the takes hot, and the banter rolling. See ya.
Peace.